Alright, so for today's class, we are going to be talking about classes and IDs within HTML and CSS. So, as you might remember from our previous sessions, in our HTML, we create many of these tags so we can have things like header, h1, nav, unorganized list, list item. We have all these different tags, and if we wanted to edit one of these tags and change the font color, change the font size, etc., etc., we can target that tag and then we can edit its properties using the style sheet. So for example, in this example website that I have here, I just have some simple h1s, an unorganized list, 2 paragraphs, and an image. So let's say, for example, we wanted to change the text color. We can go into our style sheet. We can see where this is. This is within a paragraph, and this is within a paragraph. So we can edit those properties. Go over here to paragraph in our style sheet, type color, and then we can change this to, let's say, blue. I can open this back up, and now you see both of my paragraphs are now blue. But the problem we want to solve is, let's say, for example, we want to have a paragraph, this top paragraph, to be blue, but then this bottom paragraph to be red. In other words, we need to be able to target each of these paragraphs separately. And the way we can do that is through the use of classes and IDs. So classes and IDs are unique, are names that you give to your tags so that you can target that specific name in the style sheet and change that one individually. So we need to understand when we use either an ID or we use a class. An ID will be is typically used for things that are unique. So if it's only going to show up one time on the website, if that tag is only going to show up with that unique set of rules by itself, you use an ID. If you think you want to pass on the changes that you make to certain paragraphs or certain sections on your website, you would use a class. So let's show an example of this. I can go into my HTML, and if we look at the website, this nav bar that I have over here, this is unique. We're only going to come up with a set of properties for this once. So it would be a good idea to come up with an ID for this. So what I shall do is I will go to my nav bar and I will type in ID equals, and then I'll write nav bar. So what I've done is I have taken this specific tag that's on this HTML and I have given it its own ID, and this is the ID, navbar. So from now on, whenever we want to reference this specific section on our website, we can just target navbar. So, just as a reminder, this is what it currently looks like. We're going to make some changes to make this look like an actual navigation bar. So now that this has its own unique ID, I can go over to my style sheet. We'll minimize that. And I can now type in hashtag navbar. So the way that you target IDs on a website in your style sheet is using hashtag and then the name of the ID that you gave it. So we gave this the ID of navbar, so we type in hashtag navbar. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to change the font size to be 24 pixels, let's just say, and I will change the background color to be cornflower blue. Why? Just because. So when I go back to my website, now we can see that this has been all targeted. We've managed to target the ID instead of just targeting the navbar. And again, the reason we want to do this is because we want to target things specifically. So if for some reason we wanted to, if we had a different navbar in here, a second navbar, we would want to target this one that we gave the ID to instead of the second one. And the changes that we're making to this navigation bar are only going to be used once, so we use an ID. So I'm just going to come over here and fix the margin of the website, just so it's a little bit more clean. Margin 0 pixels. Yeah, that's better. We're going to change some other things now. Now, what you might remember when we were just targeting regular tags is that we were able to target elements inside of these brackets. So, for example, if we could be able to target a unorganized list, but only if that unorganized list was inside of a navbar, let's say, or inside of a paragraph, or inside of a div. We are able to target elements within other elements. And here we can do the same thing using our ID. So here in this navbar that I have, this nav tag, we also have an unorganized list and we have some list items. We can target those specifically within this ID as well. So I can go over to my CSS and I can type in hashtag navbar UL. And now I can target specifically the unorganized list within that navigation bar, and only this one with the ID of navbar. And I'm going to, in here, I'm going to change the list style type to none. And what that'll do is that gets rid of the bullets on the side of our list. On top of that, I'm also going to target the list items. So I can go hashtag navbar list item brackets, and in here I can type display inline, and then I can type padding right 10 pixels. So what this will do is this will take our list items, display them in a row, and then add some padding to the right so that they're spaced out. Oh, I made a mistake somewhere. Oh, I made a misspelling. That's all. I wrote navbar instead of navbar. Go over here, and now we can see now the change has been made. So you can see that now we're able to target things with specific names. Alright, so that covers the idea of IDs. IDs are unique and should only be used once. Now, by contrast, let's say that we want to make changes to multiple items in our HTML. This is where we would use a class. A class is very similar to an ID, except instead of only using it once, you want to make use of it in multiple places if possible. So, for example, I want to take my two divs, my two paragraphs on my website, and I want to make them unique, but I also want to keep them following some of the same, I want them to have some of the same properties, and then I'll change some of their properties. So, what I will do is I will create a class. So I will say div class equals paragraph 1. Keep it simple. Oh no, just paragraph. Let's make it paragraph. And then in my second paragraph down here, I can say div class equals paragraph as well. So now these two divs will have the same class name of paragraph. So when we change one of them, we'll be changing both of them. So let's go to our CSS, and I'll minimize our navbar stuff over here. So the way that you target a class with CSS is that instead of using a hashtag, you use a period. So here I'll type period paragraph with some open and close braces. And I'm also going to get rid of this for now, just so it doesn't interfere. So in our paragraph, what I can say is I can say that the font size will equal 16 pixels. I can say that the font family will be Arial. I can say that the color will be red, just as an example. Any other changes that I would like to make? I can give these divs a border, and I can say that it has to be 3 pixels solid. On top of that, I'm going to make these have a page width of 45%. So we've changed a couple of things here. We've changed the font size, what the font actually is, the color. We've given each of these paragraphs a border, and we've made them have a width of 45%. So when I load this page, now we can see that each of these items has been reduced to only be 45% of the page. So even when I minimize this, it stays at 45%. The color is red. The font family has changed to Arial. And yeah. So this allows us to change multiple things. Now, what we want to do is I want to show you how we can, style this website a little bit better. So I'm going to, the reason why I made each of these 45% is because I actually want each of these to be on, I want this top one to be on the left side of the website, and then I want this bottom one to be on the bottom side of the website. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm also going to add in an ID for each of these paragraphs as well, each of these divs. So I will go to my div up here, and I will give this an ID of left side. And then down here I can go over here and also give it an ID, and I can say that this will be right side. So you can combine classes and IDs, just so long as you remember that the ID is unique and the classes can be used in multiple places. So each of these will follow the rules that are listed in paragraph, but they'll also use their unique ones in left side, right side. So let's take a look at that. Let's go over here and we can type in left side. And for left side, I actually want to set this first property back inside a paragraph, make the margin of this 10, just to give it a little bit of space. So in left side here, I'm going to say I want this to float to the left. So this keeps this floating to the left. Now that's already there by default, so you won't see that much of a significant change right away. So we want that to float to the left, and then I'm going to create one for right side. And I'm going to say I want this to float to the right. And now you can see right here that now this one is floating to the left, so it's staying on the left side of the screen. And then this one, which we told to float to the right, this one is now being pushed to the right side of the screen. It's pretty cool. So we can add in different ways of formatting the website like this. That way we can use the same type of elements, the same divs, the same paragraphs over and over again. But we can give them either classes to use or unique IDs if we only really need to use it once. So to make this look like a more complete website, what we can do is we can just change some more general things about the page. So I can go over and combine the fact that we use IDs and classes along with just regular tags. So I can go to the body and I can change the background color of this to be aqua, font, family, Arial. I can go to my header, for example, and I can change a couple things about the header. Padding left, I can say I want this to be 10 pixels. Padding right, I want that to be 20 pixels. Padding, I'm sorry, not padding right, padding bottom. I apologize. Padding bottom, 20 pixels. Padding top, 20 pixels. I can change the background color of this to be dark slate blue. And I can change the font size to be 32 pixels. So now, taking a look at our website, now you see we're starting to get sort of a more complete website, where we're able to space things out, we're able to target specific things, and if we need to change something, we are fully capable of, shifting things to the left, shifting things to the right. We're able to target specific things, give elements these unique names, and we're able to play around with our website a lot more and customize it more. So there will be time for you to practice this with a homework assignment that will go alongside this video. So with that, good luck, and I will see you next time.